Happy February, everybody. It's definitely sports. We hope you enjoyed the pure beatdown that was the Chiefs in the Super Bowl a couple weeks ago. Justin and I talked about it last week. I was thoroughly, I was enjoying my time seeing the scores and the updates. Justin, not so much. We had different reactions. But here is the question. Justin, football is over. We got a long time until football comes back. What are we watching?
NASCAR?
Hell yeah, we're watching NASCAR.
NASCAR and spring training. And the Four Nations tournament for the NHL. I was going to say,
did that not get you so fired up for hockey? Or like just amped. USA in general?
No, I was bleeding red, white, and blue.
100%.
I started that game because Christina was going to leave the house right around 5.
Yep.
And I was actually outside with Sophia, and she was riding her scooter, and I pulled it up because it was on Hulu, so I pulled it up on my phone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'll watch the beginning of it outside here on my phone. And then when Christina leaves with the two boys, I'll go inside and watch the game. When the puck dropped and they started fighting, I stood up in my chair outside on my phone. And I'm like, I got to get in the house. I have to watch this on the big screen. So I ran inside and turned it on, and I was glued to that TV.
Come on, man. Boo our national anthem again. See what happens.
And we wiped the floor with them.
Absolutely, we did. Played Freebird after every goal. Hell yeah, dude.
I felt that's the most patriotic I felt in, a long time.
Yeah.
A long time. And it was against Canada, which is like,
Right. Didn't even seem like a big rivalry, or at least not to me. But
it's like the little nerdy kid who's talking a bunch of trash, and you're like, bro, what? And then like they finally challenge you, and it's like, all right, let's do this.
Yeah.
They challenge you to chess, and then you beat them. That's what beating them in hockey was like.
I thought it was fantastic. We just, it was great watching the Kachuk brothers take on those two Canadians.
Dude, and they went at it.
Dude, those were fights. Those weren't just like, pushing and shoving. Those were hockey fights.
Yeah.
And they were good fights too. So I will be invested in that tournament
Thursday at 5.
Rest of the time.
Well, so we have them again. We have to play Canada again.
We do have to play Canada again. Yeah.
I am not as enthused because now, if we win, it's twice as good. But if we don't win, and dude, they got Sidney Crosby and McDavid, and they got a lot of
some dudes, man.
Yeah. The mountain that is beating them twice doesn't seem super great. But here's the thing: if we lose, it's gonna suck because this other game's not gonna matter. Yeah,
not as much for sure.
Right.
At least not at this point.
What's sick though is we get this every year now because this is what they're doing for the All-Star game.
I know, and NBA, take notes because your All-Star games suck,
dude. And I know, and I do think if the NHL capitalizes on this, I was talking to a buddy about this a couple nights ago. The NBA, just the state of the NBA and ratings and just gameplay, and the NHL. Yeah. One of the things that has kept the NBA above the NHL, and it's more so the other way. It's kept the NHL down is all the international players. It's hard to keep track of those guys. Baseball, for some reason, has a way around it. I'm not sure what that key is because there's a lot of international players in baseball.
There's just enough Cubans in our nation that still will watch.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but baseball, America's pastime. Like when you think like American sports, it's football and baseball.
Yeah, 100%.
Now with basketball being what it's at, there's a lot of international players in basketball now.
Yes.
And if basketball, and it's the European players that are hard to follow. If basketball can't figure out a way to market these international players, and it starts kind of bringing itself to a lateral level of the NHL with international players, the NHL product is so much more fun to watch. And
dude, it is. It's exciting, and
this might be an overreaction, and it might not be as close as I think it could be. But I think the fight for the third most popular sport in the United States, hockey could make a little push for that spot.
I think that's very viable.
Could take bronze. If the NBA continues to tank and Adam Silver doesn't pull his head out of his rear end, Because what? The three best players in the NBA right now are international, and the best up-and-coming players international. So you got Giannis, Jokic, Luka, and then Wembanyama.
Yep.
It's probably Anthony Edwards sitting there as the only American in the top 5, like building a player.
Even SGA is Canadian, isn't he?
Right, yeah. So, you could take SGA, Jokic, Giannis, and Luka, and there's
that's a hell of a squad right there.
4 of the 5 best players in basketball.
Yeah.
You could argue are international players. So
yeah, that's fair. That's fair. And we know there's a problem in the NBA when Mac McClung is winning dunk contests every year. Was that a joke?
I didn't watch. I
forgot it was happening.
Coverage.
I totally forgot it was happening. I saw the highlights later, watched every dunk from every basketball player. Stewart can freaking float, dude. He's got those hops. And I really don't think Mac McClung was that impressive. I don't know.
I saw he got a perfect score every dunk.
Dude, they were handing out 50s like freebies. I was like, okay, this is not what it used to be.
So we saw the NHL. We saw them figure out their stuff, which seems like they have a permanent fix now. I mean, who's going to get away from this now?
Right, dude.
And you got to think in years to come, Russia will be in this tournament.
Right. And there's going to be bad blood, dude. There's going to be more fights. And I think that's part of what makes hockey so entertaining, just because
Is there a similar road? I'm not saying the same format because I think that's impossible because roster sizes and stuff. Is there a fix for the NBA? All-Star Weekend.
Let people start fighting in games.
I'm saying specifically All-Star Weekend.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's tough. Well, first off, they need to get the real dunkers in the NBA dunk contest. I know it's always been historically an up and coming player thing that they've used it for. But come on, man. The fact that John Morant is not in the dunk contest, what a joke, dude. That guy can absolutely fly. There are way better dunkers like they were trying to compare Mac McClung's dunk to Aaron Gordon in 2016. Did you see that?
I didn't.
No, absolutely asinine. Those two, those are not even close to being on the same level. So I think they need to.
Mac McClung's not even in the NBA at this point. He's in the G League. He plays for like something Magic, like the Orlando Magic G League team.
Yeah, it's embarrassing.
Somebody did mention he has a higher efficiency rating and higher points per game than Bronny, and Bronny's on the Lakers.
That doesn't surprise me.
You should have to be an active full-time NBA player to be in the dunk contest. But they were doing that, and you still had a bunch of scrubs that nobody knew. They could just jump.
That's what I'm saying. They got to get the people actual premier dunkers. Those are the people that are going to bring in the crowd to watch it. And what else was I? Oh, and for the game itself, one, get rid of the in-season tournament. That's stupid. We need to get away from that. Pay the players that make the All-Star game. Pay them whatever the NBA in-season tournament was going to be, and pay the players on the All-Star team. Give them an incentive to win that game, and honestly, let them play a little more dirty. That's what's going to turn around the NBA.
How much money do you have to pay those guys, though? What's a reasonable price to pay them when they're making $50 million a year? Most of them.
I was going to say, it's going to be $500,000 or more for that game.
Who cares? But does Kevin Durant or LeBron or Steph or any of those guys care about $500,000?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, what are they making shoe sales in December? Like, that's what I'm saying. I don't know. I don't know what those guys like. What do you give them? I think you'd have to give them $15 million, and I don't know if that's a realistic number that they'd put out there. I don't know. I think the NBA has gotten soft. Adam Silver's proven to be a terrible commissioner. I do think LeBron has kind of spearheaded this generation of players of just not being. I don't want to say LeBron's not a competitor and he's not competitive and stuff, but it's not the same. You don't have the Magic and Larry Bird thing or the Michael Jordan or the Kobe. Like, it doesn't matter if this is a pickup game. Somebody said they go to the UCLA NBA runs every summer, games that don't matter. And he goes, they play harder there. So why don't they play harder here?
Yeah, it's fair. I think that's a great comp.
And it's basketball, dude. Like who?
Yeah.
Like this is not the NHL. These guys get hurt all the time,
right?
And they're it's you could almost compare it to the NFL, and they're playing balls to the wall. And like what do you? When's the last time you watched an NBA game and a guy just blew out his ACL? I mean, I'm not saying you can't get hurt in basketball, and guys get hurt all the time, and we see this.
Paul George, last time we saw a really ugly injury in the middle of a game.
Yeah, so how many games have played? That's what I'm saying, though. Like, the odds of this happening, I don't know. I think it's kind of
feels pretty low.
Maybe give an insurance incentive to them. If you get hurt, the NBA will cover some. I don't know. It is sad to see a sport like basketball, outside of baseball, the least physical major sport, and your guys don't want to go get hurt. It kind of seems like they just want the vacation time. They don't want to be there. They wish they were back at home, and they're just on vacation.
Which does that speak to a bigger conversation? Which it's guys your and my age. It's the millennial generation. It's the people who want all the accolades without putting in any of the work. Is that playing out in the NBA right now? Is that what we're seeing? Is that millennial mindset of like?
Well, I don't know if it's. I wouldn't question their work ethic, because I know those guys put in work into their craft. I mean, you talk about LeBron, and LeBron has spent more money on his body than any athlete ever. Like,
right.
So it's not the work ethic. I don't think. I think it's I don't know. I think there is a level of basketball where they just don't want to play. I mean, they just don't want to. If everyone else is getting a week off, and part of me that resonates with me a little bit. If you're an all-star and you play for your favorite team and you're in the NBA and everyone else gets 9 days off, and then you have to fly to a certain city, and you're not getting that vacation break where it's like, dude, I wish I was golfing. I'd still get my shots up in the morning, but I wish I was golfing. I wish I could go to Cabo, or I wish I could do this, and now I'm here. Like, I mean, I get it too, but I mean, suit up, man, for the fans and everyone that's paying thousands and thousands of dollars every year to support the league and to watch this. Yeah. That's the effort you put out there. Is just kind of lame.
Yeah. NBA All-Star Weekend, not great, but was great was the Daytona 500.
Daytona freaking 500.
William Byron pulling a rabbit out of a hat, dude. I mean, unreal. How much of that race did you watch? Did you watch all of it?
No, because it was Jackson's birthday on Saturday.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Or Sunday. Jackson's birthday was Sunday. And we actually did a family dinner. We had all the grandparents in town. Because it got delayed and stuff, it just kind of messed up the watchability of it for us. But I watched the last 51 laps.
Okay, so almost the whole last phase.
I saw the part you want to watch. And when him and Chase Elliott went high and got behind Bubba,
and screw Bubba Wallace, dude.
I was so mad.
Ruined a race.
It took everything in me to not. I mean, not that they looks at my tweets, but like I was enraged.
Yeah, I was too. I was furious.
You blew it. You killed the whole top lane, and
100% on purpose, because that was his teammates up front, and he knew Byron and Chase Elliott were coming. So he just shut that lane down to let his teammates get out in front. I get it from the team aspect, but that sucked. I mean, Byron still won, which is amazing, but it felt like it kind of ruined that race for about 25 laps.
I almost texted you on that restart when he started in 9th, I think. Mm-hmm. Because those crashes are coming. The whole thing was going to be whether or not they threw the caution.
It's the last 5 laps of that race that matter.
But I almost texted you and I said, he's in a great spot for a crash up front. Yep. Because if he's 9 back and those cars get wiped out, a lot of those guys wind up winning that. And somehow he finagled through a third accident.
Insane. Rode the wall up high. And who was it? Was it Blaney? Or no, it was number 11. Hamlin. It was Denny Hamlin that almost caught his left rear fender.
Squeaked right through the wall.
Squeaked by.
Yeah.
And then there was no one out in front. It was incredible. So William Byron takes the Daytona 500
that was a fun race.
To back.
Yeah.
It was a fun race. If you're not sure what to do over the next month, because football's gone, turn on some NASCAR, turn on some hockey, some America hockey. And here's my last one. Turn on the TGL.
Yeah.
I had a blast watching the TGL yesterday.
Yeah.
And it was fun because then you're getting to watch like Ludwig Aberg, who just won the Genesis Invitational. He flies down to Florida right after, and now he's in this plane with his teammates who are guys he was just competing against.
Right.
And it's just so fun to see the team dynamic in golf actually play out. Like to see these guys cheer.
got legit legs. I think it's got
do
legs
too.
on it.
I do too. If they can figure out a way to get that, because the layout of the green is the same every match each week, but it'll change next week, right? If they could figure out a way to get that green to move and change elevation in the middle of the match, dude, that would be legit.
Now, is this something, because the team aspect is fun, is this something where the TGL has actually latched onto something, and is this something that could affect the way the PGA Tour lays out how they play? Like, what if, and this would be, I mean, I know golf is almost untouchable just because of golf, and there's a reference to the sport of golf. But would people be more inclined to watching golf? I mean, we all watch golf anyways. Any 28-year-old male for the rest of their life has on golf. But if there was a team aspect to the PGA Tour, and you had your teams teeing off, and there was a thing like that.
Which there are some tournaments. There are some tournaments where you end up doing match play. What is it? I think it's the Dell match play tournament. So there are those built into their season a little bit already. But I love the 3-on-3 aspect. They rotate between shots.
Right.
I just don't know how you would get a team the amount of money from earnings, and unless it really keeps kicking off and they get some serious investors. I don't know how those guys would ever make the jump just because of how much money you can still make with some of the other major tournaments that happen in the PGA Tour.
Well, what if the PGA Tour, though, changed their layout? Like, what if the PGA Tour said, we want to take a little bit of this TGL style and put this on our real courses?
Yeah.
So if you had matches where you had guys golfing the actual courses, Riviera,
that's what Live is doing, right? That's Live Golf. You just described Live Golf. So
I mean, I don't know, man.
I think it's a great question because the TGL is exciting, and I was much more locked into that than I was the Genesis Invitational on Saturday.
NASCAR has the individual races you root for, but there's a team aspect in NASCAR. And if you had a golf thing where you had a team from LA, you had a team from San Francisco, you had a team from New York, a team from Chicago, a team from Miami, a team, and representing, like, that'd be kind of fun.
Well,
that's team name, and
that's what the TGL is. There's Boston, there's the Bay Area, there's Atlanta, and it's people from that area.
Here's the thing, too, dude. Like, because a lot of times you watch these golf tournaments, you'll see Scheffler and McIlroy and Spieth and Homa and all these guys up there a lot. But I mean, you turn on a tournament and there's guys in the leaderboard that you've never heard. You're like, I have no idea who that is.
100%.
But if some of those guys were linked to a city or a team,
yeah, right, it would be fun.
I think there'd be more of a pull to watch tournaments play out, even if it was guys on the 3 holes left and they're 3 up on everybody. You don't know who they are. But if they were tied to a team with like McIlroy on it, or tied to a team with Homa, I'd be like, oh, dude, this is the guy that's on the Nashville team.
Yeah.
And he's going to go get him a couple points right now, and he's going to win. But I think you'd watch it more because you'd know
100%.
He's tied to an organization. So
100%. That was the TGL. I mean, that's Patrick Cantlay is on the Atlanta team, and he stepped up, and I didn't even realize he was on that team. And I found myself rooting for him, one, because of what he did for Team USA in the golf, in what's it called? The, not Champions Cup, but where USA plays Europe or plays the world. Or the Ryder Cup. That's it.
Yeah, the Ryder Cup.
Because he like saved them a few times. Patrick Cantlay did. And little known fact, he's sponsored by DeWalt. He's got a little DeWalt thing on the side of his hat. And I'm like, that's a working man right there. He's got a DeWalt. He's sponsored by DeWalt. So I like Patrick Cantlay, and I found myself pulling for him. And I've never really watched him in a tournament before, but it's just fun stuff like that.
Golf,
so I thought the TGO was a blast, and it's on tonight. Actually, there's another one on tonight.
Golf's going to evolve. It's going to evolve a little bit. We'll see if it just stays strictly within its own leagues, or if the PGA Tour, which is kind of the godfather of golf,
starts
pulling some strings and making some stuff happen. Because, dude, it would be a freaking blast. Even if there were just a variety of events throughout the year. That is one thing where I think you could tinker with the format of that. But
I
great
agree.
week of sport. A great week of sports following the closing of the NFL season.
Yeah.
Which it does suck. Not having football sucks.
That's it. But there is good stuff on the way. Baseball's on the way, so just hold on strong. Baseball will be here to save us soon. But right now, NASCAR and TGL is getting us through some dark times. So, all right, that's all we got for this week. We'll be back more with more sports conversation next week.